All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. Joining me now, the good sheriff, Tim Soignet. Sheriff, good to see you.
Good to see you, Martin. How you been?
How's your life been going?
Pretty busy.
Oh, I can only imagine. You had the 9/11
That
ceremony,
was
a few
yesterday.
things. How was that?
It was very good. It was a lot of firefighters. We had some people just come to observe the ceremony, firefighters and law enforcement. But it's important we don't forget and just remind us of our roots and you can't forget.
And no doubt about it. Coming from a Marine like you are, let's talk about a few different things because, God, I remember when you first got elected, we were sitting here talking about all the storms that missed. Then we had one that hit us dead in the bullseye. And so, how are things going at the sheriff's department? I know you did the city, your mini city that worked out pretty well. It was needed. How's it going since then?
It's worked out pretty well. We have about 4 or 5 left. We're getting things settled, finalized with insurance, but most of those guys are out now. But it was a good, the fortunate thing we've been able to keep our people.
Yeah.
And with that kind of devastation, we've seen it in other places. I mean, even from Katrina, law enforcement displaced in certain areas and ended up staying in the areas they moved to. And we were fortunate enough we were able to keep our people. And I mean, right now, finding law enforcement officers, that's been a challenge. I mean, we haven't stopped hiring, but I definitely don't want to lose the people I do have.
Right. And I guess that's the catch-22 is it puts you in a different mode as a sheriff to where you not only were dealing with law enforcement issues, you were dealing with personnel issues and housing. I bet you never thought when you got elected you would be dealing with housing.
Well, I think we had spoke about this, but it was like the morning right after the storm, and it was daylight, and you seen the devastation. I talked to my leadership, and I said, check on our people, see their housing situation and what's going on with their homes, and give them a chance to go check out their homes and see where they are. And I said, I need to count whose homes are messed up, not, can't possibly live in it. And, as the morning came by, I started getting numbers. And mid-morning was like 12 or 13. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then 14, 15, the numbers started growing. By the end of the evening, we had 32. We were able to identify that their homes were not livable or not a condition to live. And, throughout the housing, we've had people move out and realize, they moved out, they were able to get back on their feet and get back in their homes. But some of them realized that, they were getting sick, and then they had mold that formed in their house, not realizing. They said, what are we going to do? I said, well, you can move from one of the campers till you get that taken care of. So it was definitely something that took a lot of worry out of our personnel so they can concentrate on doing their job on a daily basis.
And that was a pretty good, I think I told you this, that was a pretty good way of consolidating your idea into making something happen. And we're sitting here today, and I'm looking at a flyer, and here comes the consolidating again. You're pretty good when you're thinking about consolidating. You have a Terrebonne Parish Safety Expo and kick off to National Night Out Against Crime, but it's not so spread out anymore. You're trying to bring it together.
Trying to bring it together. Over the years, we have a lot of good events, and we got a lot of good organizations in our parish, and they all have their own little event. Like if you go to a car show, you'll see certain organizations that really support that. Or you go to another event and there's another good organization that supports that. I got together with a lot of them. I said, how about if we do one big event? And they can still do those other organizations, but where it'll draw a lot of people, where people can see a lot of resources that are in the parish and people that do a lot of good things that's within the parish. It's getting everybody one umbrella, so when the people go around to see it, they get a chance to see. I mean, we're going to have like almost a touch a truck. They got the water safety. I don't want to, but children water safety awareness. That particular organization, to give you an example, about a couple years ago, I didn't know they existed. Then I realized a donation gives a free life jacket for life, and no matter how old you are, doesn't matter. You give them a donation, and when you outgrow that life jacket, they'll replace it. Plus, they get free lessons. So, I bought my grandchildren
Right.
all a life jacket. Now they have numbers, so when they outgrow it, they can get another one. To me, things like that, and plus the free swimming lessons.
That's
I mean, we're
invaluable.
surrounded
Yeah.
by water.
Yeah.
And that organization, and other, like Louisiana Passenger Safety Task Force, they give away free car seats, and they used to do an event off of West Park, and they do a little event every year. So kind of pull them. It's like, hey, let's get together. And actually, the day of the event is the National Car Seat Safety Day. So the day of the event, we're kind of using that as a platform to kick off, plus a night out on crime. But we're bringing a lot of resources out to our community. And the event's going to start at 9:00 on at the Civic Center, and it's going to end at 2:00. But there's going to be very children friendly. The helicopters for state police is going to be out there, Acadian. We're going to have some ambulance for the kid. I think we're having all of the fire departments that are participating. They're going to have the little train for the children. So there's a big family event. It's from 9 to 2. But it's kind of like bringing everything together, and it'll be a good way to spend a Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon.
Terrebonne Parish Safety Expo, and kick off the National Night Out Against Crime. And I know we had a previous segment on it, but I want to give him a little chance to elaborate, because he's got a list there, which is pretty extensive. There's going to be a lot happening.
There is. Like I said, we talk about the water safety and the child seats, but we're going to have some of the sheriff's office equipment, home and police department, fire trucks. There's going to be hot dogs, I think, snowballs, and there's free food. But it's really just going to be an outright community event. I mean, Holiday Inn is going to be giving some information on human trafficking, which they kind of do a lot of that study because of the hotel services. Right. So everybody has something to contribute out there. The Emergency Operations Center is going to be putting a hazmat unit out there. It's going to give the community the opportunity to see some of the resources we have to function on a daily basis or during times of emergency.
It's funny you would talk about human trafficking, because I did a couple of stores with members of the district attorney's office and members of the detectives bureau, and it's something people forget about, but right here in Terrebonne Parish, it's everywhere. So we have to be vigilant.
Yes, and when you look at the law, there's different forms of it, and we do deal with it from time to time. But it's being cognizant of what's going on out there and what to look for. And like a lot of, we've getting information from sometimes hotels that, and we obviously investigate. Sometimes it's legitimate, sometimes it's not, but it's out there, and we have to do everything we can.
Yeah. When you're talking about, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you have any more topics before I get to my?
No, we have. The voter register's office is going to be out there.
Okay.
Matter of fact, some of the Wolf's Pharmacy is going to be out there. Basically, director and convention of event sales. There's going to be just different handouts, and library is going to have some resources out there. American Legion, Attorney General's office is going to have some representation out there. So there's a list of a whole bunch of things, but it's just really resources from pamphlets and brochures.
So it's a broad spectrum.
It's a very, very broad spectrum, but we're using that as a kind of like a catalyst to kick off for the night out on crime, because that's going to be the following Tuesday. So there will be some resources out there. So if people want to go to their neighborhood, have their own little get together, back in the day they called it like a block party. That's really, I think, where it started.
Yeah.
But here's an opportunity for resources. Like, why can't we do one in our neighborhood? Well, you know what? Any kind of resources out there where people can kind of take a proactive approach in the neighborhood and clean it up, what to look for. That's what we want. We can't be the success we have. We rely on our community to help us, and they've been doing a very good job on some of our successes in our office.
Okay. Let's do a little segue, because, when I was riding around for Hurricane Ida and doing all these follow-up stores, I ran into you several times on the bayou areas, wherever we went, really. How has it panned out as far as looting? What would you think the looting was at that point? Seemed like y'all held it in check pretty good, but once again, y'all were thinking out the box with this.
Well, in the very beginning, we set up a pretty strong message, talking to the judges, working with the judges on this. I didn't want to get out of hand. We saw it, and everybody saw the devastation. And I said, it's bad enough that people seem like they lost everything. We don't need anybody, what little they do have left, or what they're trying to preserve. We don't need anybody trying to take advantage of them. So, we sent a very strong message, and a lot of our officers that were out there those first few weeks, it was just really out there trying to prevent a lot of these things from happening and getting people back. And, that's a very important part of this whole equation. When you look under an emergency situation where it becomes emergency, it's when not normal security is in place. Not normal security means when the homeowner's gone, that normal security is not in place. It's the homeowner. When they're gone under a state of emergency, it's getting the families back to their homes so they can start protecting, or for lack of better terms, getting control of their property. So I thought that was very important for us to get our guys back, and I think for a record, considered a devastation, we were able to get our community back pretty fast, especially ones those that had evacuated.
And I was amazed at just, we in the sector outside of law enforcement sometimes don't put ourselves in the law enforcement shoes, realizing that these law enforcement people are away from their families patrolling for other families.
That's right. And it's important, and they are, and they're protecting everybody's property, and they understand that. And you look in the past, there's draws a lot of people as why they don't leave when we ask them to evacuate. One, they scared that their property, something's going to happen to their property, or if they're a business owner, is like, look, a lot of good business owners, especially local ones, they roll their sleeves up every day. And they're in that business, and they're doing it. And when they got to leave, that's their livelihood. So you can't blame them for not wanting to leave. I mean, I think we all have some things that draw us, and like, I don't want to leave because of this, and that, and this, and that. I think it's important to know, for the future, if something happens, look, we're going to be out there in full force, doing everything we can to protect your property. And as soon as we can get this parish open back up, or path, I'll say a roadways, that's good enough for me so they can get home.
We've been talking about the Expo quite a bit, and I see what you're trying to do and just bring everything in and everything. And, Thibodeau has something very unique, the Fireman's Fair, that they bring in monies, a lot of monies, and it just become such a great showpiece, but it's for a cause. Is your mind sort of thinking that way?
That's exactly the whole part. There's a lot of good organizations. Like I said, everybody's a hero in their own right for trying to serve that cause, whatever that may be, from, getting life jackets for kids. They're going to say, I have no doubt they're going to save some child's life as a result of bringing that awareness, and plus free swimming lessons. And I think that's been a catalyst. So things like that, and, the car seats. Everybody has an organization that tries to do a good cause. I mean, you have the Shriners that try to do good things. The whole idea is a concept that we're working, and I think maybe this is a start, as a hero festival. We call it a hero festival. These type of events can bring everybody together, and everybody serves their cause. So everybody has their ability to raise funds for their cause, but creating a venue that can raise money for their cause, and we can raise money for our cause, which would be obviously law enforcement, first responders, your firefighters, and things like that. So just putting a big festival together where, it can draw a lot. And look, we got a great advantage in South Louisiana. It's the food. And when you talk to people, they always talk about the lagna back in the day, and it drew people all over the place. I said, we still have that ability with the food and everything else, can really draw a big crowd, but everybody has a cause, and it's just a group of people that are a venue that allows everybody to serve that cause.
And that was such a big deal back then. I remember going to it several times, and I think maybe your point is to try to, so many people get tapped out because they got to go to 10 or 12 different events in the same, I don't say this in a bad way, because everybody needs funds to survive, but
That's it.
I mean, we get people coming in here all the time. We have this going on. We have this going on. But if you consolidate a bunch of them,
It's a force multiplier.
that's it. They write one check and it goes percentage wise.
It's a force multiplier, but when you get people, I mean, you take, for instance, there's always a network of, I mean, they have the craft fairs, they have downtown or at Southdown Pavilion, and it draws a lot of crowd. There's like a following there. But you imagine having an event that's going to have some of that. It's going to have just a whole list of different things that is going to draw people. Everything's going to draw and going to feed over to each event where people ought to know y'all even existed. And you know what? You know, we're going to get some food, and guess what? The food that they're, you know, could be the Shriners that's cooking the alligator, or, you know, any organization that's cooking. So the money that they're raising for their cause, but a percentage of it is coming for our cause. It's really creating that venue that's going to allow us to bring it all together, and everybody gets a chance to be a hero for their cause. And that's why.
So y'all could sort of be the management, if I'm hearing you right, and you get a little percentage because y'all have costs too.
That's
but then
correct.
they all get their little piece.
Everybody gets to, you know, primarily whoever wants to participate, probably about 80% of what they raise would go to their cause, 20% cover to our cause. So it's like creating that venue for all of these organizations to come together under one umbrella and just put a big weekend event on where there's, you know, I vision fair rides. I vision, you know, just making it like it used to be. But the food, people going to go, hey, we can eat, listen to music. You know, they can have the bandstand. You got music. You have a variety of everything. But the cause is for every good thing this parish tries to put
And I
together.
could see you and Joe Waits or Gordy Dove in the dunking booth.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a good opportunity. And this is kind of the start of it. You know, I had a vision of, you know, this is a good start, because every one of the organizations that's showing up has a cause, and they do good things. And there's a lot of other organizations, a lot of the Mardi Gras crews have every one of their charities. You know, everybody has a charity, and they try to raise money for their cause throughout to do good things. This is another opportunity for massive participation of people in this parish to put something on that's going to draw a lot of outside to come in and participate.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that develop. And is that that's a fast track idea you're moving on
It's
pretty
something
quick?
we're looking at. This was a start, and we want to grow it, but I'm really looking at really hard to try to get something like this going. I think we have a perfect venue site, the Civic Center, and to put a big event. And I know you'd be interested in doing some music and covering
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
But
yeah.
to me, it's a good opportunity for us as a community to come together. Last year, we tried to do the Safety Expo, but we had the Hurricane Ida, so that was so we got this kicking off. But it was really a start or a basis. Like, okay, all these guys that participated, what do y'all think about this? And put it. But I mean, you were very much involved with the 4th of July events, and I think y'all had a lot of good organizations that was coupled together, and getting with those type of groups and just partnering. Let's build something big.
I was thinking about that while you were saying it. I could see Danny Piku salivate and getting involved.
No doubt, and
we'd
that's
love
the point.
to. Yeah.
There's a lot of good people in this parish that try to do good things, and creating a venue for everybody to get their cause out. You know, whether it's raising money for children or if it's raising toys. I mean, I do toys. It's, you know, just an opportunity for our community to come together. But no matter where you go in there, the money's going to somewhere for a good cause.
Well, we look forward to seeing it, and be glad to help. And thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I'll see you somewhere soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you have it. The Sheriff of Terrebonne Parish. We'll take a short break. We have a lot more in Bayou Time. Don't go away.